based out of Lagos, Nigeria. We cater to the needs of small groups, large groups, individuals, entrepreneurs, educational needs, and corporate needs as well. In recent time, due to the growing economic challenges of the country, we've seen an increased demand in a lot of entrepreneurs, not just entrepreneurs, nine to fivers as well, coming to ask us what what are their options, right? Um, I wouldn't want to use the word jackpot, but we would always do whatever is legal. If anything is illegal, count us out of it 100%. So we've had quite a number of clients in the last 1 or 2 years reach out to us, you know, telling us to give them an insight to what opportunities there might be for them as an entrepreneur, or just for a regular person seeking to either relocate or even do business legit outside of the sense of this Google Meet, navigating the travel processes and opportunities as an entrepreneur in Nigeria. In fact, I wasn't really looking at the topic. It was until I got back to the country yesterday night. And then I reached out to her and I'm like, wait, hold on. I didn't read this topic very well. We're not a relocation company. This is what we do. And then she's like, yeah, that she totally understands. But either ways, we should share our insights with others, different routes that are available to people. And it might interest you to know that some people don't just want to leave the country, some are just looking for opportunities to diversify their income. How can we do business legit in other countries, earn dollars, and bring it back to Nigeria? So it's not just about relocating, as most people might think. Not everybody wants to leave Nigeria. Some people just want to look for an opportunity that enables them shuttle between the country. You go out, you come back, you could run your businesses here, or what can you do outside of the country that ensures that whatever you're doing is legit and is 100% and you don't fall prey of scammers. So I'll just run through it quickly, right? um the first and most common avenue a lot of people um would take when they're trying to explore opportunities out of the country is usually via the student route, and which is what we've seen. And this is me speaking um, from the angle of a travel consultant, right? 9 out of 10 times you would have husbands or wives reaching out asking, oh, my wife is going to, she wants to go to, say, Canada or the UK for school. And because, according to the laws of most of these countries, right, if, of course, except for when it's begun to change, like the UK, for example, as happened in recent times, if one spouse is going on a study visa, the either the other spouse and the kids can come as dependents. Now, the other spouse that is coming as a dependent would obviously have access to getting a work permit that enables him work or her work while the other spouse is in school. So more often than none, you see a lot of people exploring that option. Now, what are the countries that allow you do this? Off the top of my head, most EU countries allow that. You also have Canada as well that allows that. So long, and now the only thing now is that there's a lot more stringent measures to ensure that you're not just trying to get a student visa and you don't go there to school as you've said. So most people now want you to pay your tuition up front. Some would even say, no, you can't bring in a dependent. Some would say, if you're going to bring a dependent, you must have this X amount of money and all of that, all of that. So you have a couple of those schools that are giving us these opportunities as Nigerians where you could apply as a student, you pay your tuition, you get your admission, and then you apply for a visa. Now, one thing most people don't realize is that you've gotten an admission is not automatic that you're going to get a visa, and that's where a lot of people miss it. Because there's a lot of factors that come into play when the visa approval is being determined. So it's not automatic. Some will say, come to us and say, oh, I got an admission and I applied for visa and I got refused. There are so many factors that you must meet that would determine whether your visa is approved or not. And you see, they get derailed and they just lose it and then they go back to the drawing board, which I always advise. So, in the first instance, you need to go through a reputable company. Like somebody had mentioned to me earlier, I think last week, there are a lot of scams out there. And the reason why there are a lot of scammers out there is because there are a lot of people looking to do these things and they're not even bothering to do their own research. It doesn't cost you anything to take your laptop, your phone, and do a simple research. Half the things you're looking for people to help you with, you can actually do it. Travel. There are a couple of reputable travel companies that do these things. If you come to us at Saffron Travels and you say, oh, please, we want to do a PR, we will tell you up front, we do not do relocation. We tell people there's no point beating around the bush. However, we can give you advices on how to go about it. There are a lot of resource materials out there. If you can be diligent enough, go through these things. You can do some of these things yourself. And it is in places where maybe where you need your visa application, or maybe you want to go to school. We are affiliated to a couple of schools in England, in Europe, in Canada as well, that we could help process admissions. Again, we also tell people that look, um, at the point where you're applying for your visas, it is solely the prerogative of the consulate to approve your visa. It's not Saffron Travels. So we don't, when some people come and tell us, oh, is it 100% guaranteed? And I'm like, no, my father is not the consulate. So anybody that tells you something is 100% guaranteed, that's your first sign of knowing that you're about to be scammed. There is no 100% guaranteed anywhere. And if you could as much as do just a little research, you will see some of these things by yourself that would aid you in um, getting through the whole travel process. Now, so I've talked about the first part of trying to the opportunities as an entrepreneur in Nigeria, trying to relocate to another country. That's the most common one that we've seen, where you have somebody going via the student route. So either the wife goes via the student route, and then the husband can now go in as a dependent who then has access to a work permit. So that's the most common routes that we've seen. Sometimes it's always the wife working and then the husband going to school, whichever one works for your family. At Saffron Travels, we are able to help with securing your admission and visa advisory. Again, we are not guaranteeing anybody's visa. We would only help you make sure your application is put in the best possible light. And then the second um, um, alternative, there there are different schemes you see. Like Malta, for example, has a program called the Nomad Visa. So if you're a 9 to 5 here in Nigeria, or you're an entrepreneur in Nigeria, and but your business doesn't require you to sit down in the country, you can actually operate your business from anywhere in the world. So that nomad visa, for example, gives you a right to live legitimately in that country. You can live in that country, right? But you will not be able to work in that country because it's a nomad visa for a reason. It means you're a nomad. You're only seeking that place as your abode. After which, maybe for a change of environment, for better healthcare, or whatever things, or maybe you want your kids to have access to better schools or whatever, you could actually go through the nomad visa route and you would be allowed to legally stay in that country. But the difference is that your earnings will still be in Nigeria or wherever it is you're making your money for. Only that you be living in that country. I know Malta for a fact. Um, they operate that program. So if you Google it, you just put Malta nomad visa. So that gives you an opportunity. And Malta is in the EU. So having that visa allows you access to all the countries in the EU. So you can decide to move, and countries in the EU, I mean France, Italy, Spain, Portugal, and what have you. So that is another opportunity to move around. You could also, it helps you, it gives you access to their facilities there, and there could be Nigerians are very hardworking. That much I know. I mean, whilst you are there, you could, seek other opportunities and you're able to move on to other things for them. But the important thing you need to know is that with the nomad visa, you're not allowed to work in Malta. It means that you can live there, you can reside there lawfully, but your earnings will be from wherever you're making your money from because you're a nomad. So you can be making, most people work online and they can be making their money from America or from Nigeria or anywhere, or you'll be allowed to stay there. They also have other EU countries like Portugal, Germany. They also have their different visa schemes as well that allows you live there legally. You would need to do a good research, and I mean, with the help of a very grounded travel consultant that can point you in the right direction. I always tell people you don't leave all your work to somebody to do it for you. You need to do your research yourself to ensure that you're getting the very best of both worlds. So don't just go give somebody, or somebody is asking for 5 million to do this. And that is the reason why people fall prey of scammers out there, because you don't want to do the work. You need to put in the work and make sure that whoever you are speaking to that is helping you is very well learned and very well exposed. So countries like Portugal, Germany, they also have these visa schemes as well, where you can apply to, and it's going to go through a process as well. That one is not a nomad visa. For example, I can't remember what it's called now, but it's a scheme where if you have some certain skills, and if they see that you're the kind of person they want in their country, they would give you further information and you can go ahead and apply. A lot of IT people, people in engineering are getting into Germany because of this as well. I mean, because they're looking for skilled labor, people that can contribute positively to their economy. So that might be something worth looking at. And in this case, you will be allowed to work in those countries. You can work, you can earn a living, you can come with your dependent as well. You would pay taxes in that country as well. So that is another major way of um, it's another opportunity actually for people that are looking to relocate legitimately to other countries, and that way you would have access to everything the country has to offer for residents. The UK as well is another place to look at, although they keep changing their rules every now and again. So you need to also be abreast of the rules of the country. I mean, at the point where you're submitting your application, the rules can change at any time without prior notice. So you need to also know that as well. Then there's actually a lot of countries people don't even know about that are welcoming entrepreneurs or skilled workers, people that have certain skills. You have quite a number of these Arab countries that are actually looking for those opportunities for, I mean, for people in these classes. You've got Kuwait, you've got Oman, you've got Qatar, that if you find a sponsor that is willing to sponsor your application, then it's just for you to do the research and start looking at these companies. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that it has to be legit. I keep mentioning legit, meaning it has to be legit. You have to have the set certifications you say you possess. If you say you have a master's degree from Unilag, and you can do this and this. It must be that because they're going to verify everything from you. And it's not exactly as hard as people make it out to be, because once you have these things, if you can just be patient enough and go through the procedure without trying to jump the queue or trying to look for a short way or somebody to help you fast track something, you would get it and you'll be the better person for it. I say so. I think that's like the third um, major one where you can actually um, seek an opportunity outside of the country, and you will be relocating, or in this case, shuttling legitimately without doing anything illegal. So, those are the three major channels that I'm very, very conversant with. That I also know that people have done, and some we've assisted. Another thing that, well, I don't know if the information is really out there, but there are two countries that I know that if your child is born in that country and becomes an automatic citizen by virtue of citizenship by birth, you are entitled to permanent residence in those two countries. And when you get the permanent residence in those two countries, you can actually live legit and work there as well. So the first country is Brazil. So if you give birth to a child in Brazil, if say a pregnant woman goes to Brazil, gives birth to her child in Brazil, automatically your child becomes a citizen. And in about 3 months, you also get your permanent residence as well. So with that permanent residence, you can live and work legitimately there, pay your taxes, do your business, and after some time, you naturalize and you become a citizen. That is one way. Then the second country is Mexico. The same goes for it. If you give birth to a child in Mexico, the child becomes a citizen, and then the parents are entitled to getting permanent residence. But you must pay your hospital bills complete. It must be done very well. And after some time, when you become a permanent resident, you can actually live in that country and you work in that country and you earn genuine income as well. And the good part about it now is that you can also file for like your parents, your siblings as well. So they can also come when you're a permanent resident and they can also join you and they can live legit and work legit in those countries. So that is another way of looking at it. If you're still within the range of where you have a spouse that is pregnant and looking to give birth, so that can also be considered as well. All right. Is there any question I had to take? You're on mute. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. If you have any question, thank you. If you have any question, okay, Mrs. Abimbola, please go ahead and ask a question. We have two
Good
questions.
evening, house. Good
Good
evening,
evening.
house.
Good
My question
evening. Good
is, if
evening,
you,
ma.
yes,
Good
ma'am.
evening.
Thank you. If you have a child that is out of secondary school that want to travel, can you allow your child after secondary school? Is that safe for a child of 17 to go to travel abroad and study without the parents being there? Is it a good option? I want to find out.
It's very safe. We have a lot of clients that their kids are in school. In fact, right after um, primary school now, most people send their kids, say, to the UK or Canada for secondary school, right? And there is a program some airlines run. It's called the unaccompanied minor. So that means that your child can literally fly from Nigeria to um, the country of your choice. Maybe they're schooling in England or in Canada or something. And then the schools also have this thing where they can arrange pick up for the child as well. So a 17-year-old is almost an adult. So yes, the child can perfectly school outside of the country without the parents being there. Very, very much so.
Thank you. What about the cost?
Okay.
The cost.
That would depend on whatever school you choose and whatever country. That is completely dependent on those two things. There is no fixed cost for any school. It depends
Okay.
on the school, the
What's the
country.
range? What's the range like?
I mean, it depends. Private schools, public schools, it ranges maybe 10K. It depends. It's not something I can tell you here. Some
Okay.
schools are cheaper than the others. Some are. I mean, you have some people, and then if your child, is your child going to uni?
Yes, like yes, yes.
Yeah. So again, the courses. So if the child is going to the UK, for example, the tuition of a say, um, um, maybe a hall, University of Hall, will be different from a Reading or an Aston or something. So it varies as well with schools. So you'll be looking at least from the time I was in school. At the time I was in school, um, I mean, my tuition was about, I think, £16,000, and this is such a long time ago, and that was per year. So yeah, it ranges. I mean, if you're looking for a very, very decently priced school, you'll be looking at maybe about that range, about 18-20K a year. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Then another thing, is it only you didn't talk about school in America. You only talked about school around Canada and all that. You do. Do you have areas of specialization?
Okay. So we weren't talking about school. That wasn't the topic of our discussion today. It was
Proceed.
about opportunities
Yeah.
for entrepreneurs, um, travel processes and opportunities outside of the country. I only mentioned school as
School.
one of
Okay.
the routes people you
Okay.
go. So it wasn't about schooling. That's why I
No
didn't
problem.
go into details about that.
Okay. Okay. So for an entrepreneur that wants to leave Nigeria and work and still have the business in Nigeria, how do one go about that? So you have a business in Nigeria and you're planning to, like you said, that if you go legitimately, you'll be allowed to, to do things there, like you enjoy the medical facility and all the facility that is available in the country. So how do you go about that one too?
It
Because I
depends
have
on the
someone
route
that
you go,
in dead need of that. So I
basically,
want to
just like I explained earlier. So if you're maybe the spouse, maybe you're the wife or the husband, and the wife decides to go to school, the husband has access to a work permit. What we've seen in recent times is we've seen a lot of wives that are schooling in the UK, for example, and their husbands have BRP. BRP is called a British Resident Permit. And you see these men are shuttling between Nigeria and the UK because they've still got businesses in Nigeria, but then they have a resident permit in the UK. So that is one of the ways to look at it, you know. So if you want to still be shuttling between Nigeria and your and the country, that is one way, you know. Alternatively, like the nomad visa, like I mentioned, for Malta, you can still be doing your business, but you have a resident status in the EU.
Yeah. Thank you
question.
so much,
Maybe after the
Mrs.
meeting, I'll get in touch.
Okay. Mrs. Elizabeth, please go ahead and ask your question.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much,
Good
Ma, for the.
evening.
Yeah. I know we're talking about opportunities for entrepreneurs, but I want to ask, how easy is it to get visa for tourism? Like, if I just want to travel out for tourism's sake, how easy is it to get visa?
Again, getting visa for whatever country is solely at the discretion of the consular, and this is based on your documentations. What documents are
Okay.
you are you giving the embassy at the time of submission? The two things they look out for are your ties, economic and social ties. Economic ties in the sense that what do you do for a living? How much do you earn? Is
Okay.
economic ties with Nigeria to ensure that when you go on this tourism, you would want to come back. So that is what economic ties is looking at. Social ties in the sense that do you have families? Do you have friends? Do you have things at stake in Nigeria enough to want to bring you back? If you say you're going on tourism and you're coming back to Nigeria. So that's why in applications, when you're filling forms, they ask questions like, what's your father's name, your mother's name? Do you have a family in the UK? What do you have dependents? What do you do for a living? How much do you earn? Do you have investments? Do you have assets? They want to know that, look, this guy is only coming to our country just for vacation. After the vacation, he's going back to his country or she's going back to her country. She has a lot at stake in her home country to ensure she goes back to that home country. Otherwise, if they don't feel convinced enough, then you get denied. If they feel you're good to go and they feel that, oh, this person has a lot at stake, they give you the visa, which is the reason why I said the visa approval is solely at the discretion of the consular.
Uh, Thank you so much. Please, I would like you to introduce Saffron Travels to everyone. I know you are not into relocation well, I'm just really realizing that. But can you tell us more about Saffron Travels, mostly for those that came late?
Okay, so mhm. So basically, Saffron Travels um, is um, is a travel consultancy firm that caters to the needs of varying clients, from individuals like you and I to corporates to um, we also have schools, a lot of schools, educational needs, meetings, incentives. We also offer a wide range of um, products and services. Top amongst the list is visa advisory services, destination events, retreats, corporate retreats, cruises, flight ticketing, hotel accommodation. Then we also do experiential travelings, and I'll tell you what that means. Someone comes to us and says, "Oh, ma'am, I need the vacation for a week. I don't know where I want to go to, but I just need somewhere for a week. Like I'm stressed out." So we can curate an experience for you, and that experience would include your flight tickets, your visas to these countries as agreed by us, your airport transfer. You get to this country, somebody is at the airport to pick you up, has your name on their placard,
Um,
and you just go. Your hotel booking, once the driver drops you off at the airport, on getting to the hotel is expecting, you're not paying a dime, everything has been prepaid for. And then your meals, you get to your hotel, you rest. Maybe on day two or day three, you have tour activities. Somebody is coming to fetch you up from your hotel, take you on your tour. You're not paying anything. You don't know where the tour is, but somebody, a dedicated driver, is coming to get you, and a tour guide shows you around as a tourist. You have a great time. You come back, and you need to go other places that is taken care of as well. And at the end of your vacation, they come pick you up from your hotel, take you back to the airport, and then back to Nigeria. So it's end to end. So we've curated an experience, and then
Wow.
you see a lot of people reaching out and writing messages. Oh my goodness, I had an amazing time. I didn't have to worry about this. You don't want to know what type of. You're not worried about. Oh, where is this hotel? Is it in a nice area? Or how do I do the visas? Or how is the flight connection? Or who's going to pick me up? You know, it works out cheaper for you. You've allowed the professionals handle that headache for you. All you're just doing is
Wow.
just spending
Awesome.
the money, and that's fine. So that's one of our service offerings, amongst others. We also do cruises as well. Cruises are becoming very big in Nigeria because it's been shown to have, it's actually much more economical. And people are beginning to see it that way. It's cheaper to actually go on a cruise than to visit like 3 or 4 countries on land as opposed to going on a cruise. So we're very big on cruises as well. Then we also do a lot of destination events, weddings, birthdays, anniversaries. We just got back from one yesterday. It was a 40th birthday in Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt. So it's like the beach area in Egypt. So we also we handled all of that as well. So those are one of our service offerings. And then as regards educational, we have students. I mean, schools approaching us. They want their kids, their school students, to visit countries on a school retreat as well, corporate retreats as well. Yes, we do all of that. So those are some services that we offer at Saffron Travel.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. I bet you've given me a lot of ideas. Oh, whenever I desire vacation. I know. Thank you so much. Thank you for telling us more about you. And how can anyone who is interested reach out to you, or reach out to the company as a
Okay,
whole?
so we're on Instagram at Saffron. That's Saffron travels, one word, NG. On our social media as well. And then we have the phone number. We also have, I can put it in the message box. I think I should be able to. Yeah,
Okay.
I can do that. Yeah. So Saffron Travels NG.
Okay.
NG.
Thank you.
Yes. And then
Okay.
I
Same.
put the phone number as well, so that it can be reached at any time. Our work hours are 8 to 5 p.m. So we are available to
Okay.
take on your request.
Okay. Wow. 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 Thank you so much for this wonderful time spent with us and for sharing this insight as regards to opportunities that lie for us as entrepreneurs and how we can make best use of them. Thank you. And thank you. Despite the fact that you are not a relocation company, but the insights you shared really opened our eyes to a lot of things. And this we're very grateful for. And so let's all unmute our mic and let's say a big thank you to me. It says Abimbola for this wonderful time spent with us. Kindly unmute your mic and let's say a big thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Really appreciate
God
you.
bless
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am. I appreciate it.
God
Thank you
bless
so
You.
much. We really appreciate you. At least
Thank you so much, my you are my
Thank you so
namesake. God
much.
bless.
Really appreciate
you,
we
you.
have
Mrs.
more invite.
Abimbola.
Thank you
Oh,
so
that's
much.
Thank you, Mrs. Abimbola. Thank you.
All
yes.
right.
Okay. So let's say bye to her. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Mrs. Abimbola. Bye.
Bye.